Good afternoon. After a 2-year hiatus, the Taste of the Danforth is back.
The city's largest street food festival is getting ready to take over the Danforth neighborhood all weekend long with things to eat, do, and see. Our Beth McDonnell is out on the Danforth this afternoon where preparations are well underway for the big party. It's finally here, Beth.
You bet. The vast majority of people I'm speaking with are welcoming the return of the festival. As you can see, organizers are setting up a stage behind me and getting ready for all the crowds. It's been a tumultuous number of years for the festival. It was canceled during COVID and then faced significant financial pressures. This year, all 3 levels of government came together with funding to make Taste of the Danforth a reality. Some people did express some concerns about safety after the shooting at Salsa on St. Clair. However, they also said it's important to keep festivals going. People say they're happy Taste of the Danforth is back because so many of the businesses here have been struggling and they're looking forward to enjoying lots of delicious food.
It's been canceled for so many years, so that it's a nice time for it to return back and be able to kind of explore the local businesses and everything here.
I actually have never gotten to go before, and it's gonna be my first year. I moved into the area, and it's gonna be great.
Yes, I am, but I came before all the crowds today just to look around.
There's usually undercover cops at the Taste of the Danforth in the past, and it's a tight-knit community, and people look out for each other down here, so I feel there is safety in numbers, and so it's not a concern.
Really showcases the uniqueness of Toronto, how multicultural it is, and this is just another way of showing it. It's very Greek, but it has become a little bit more multicultural here too. You know, you have your Indonesian, you have your Persian, you have your Egyptian, you have all these other foods to actually come into the mix.
It's back because the community and the stores need it. It's a blessing for everybody here. And I'm Greek, so oppa!
Be aware, Danforth is closed between Jones and Broadview already, and that will be in effect throughout the weekend. All the fun and food kicks off at 6 o'clock tonight. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Michelle and Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. We've got more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. There's a live shot of the city. Lots happening this weekend with Taste of the Danforth, Jerk Fest, and other festivals. Sunshine, a bit of rain expected, a bit of a mixed bag. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at the current conditions. Lindsay.
Yeah, it's a little bit misty this hour in downtown Toronto, Nathan, but it has been a soggy start to the day for folks in the west end of the GTA and around the Golden Horseshoe toward Niagara. And that is one area where we do not need more rainfall, but it has been falling for the last couple of hours here. I'll widen things out so you can see a couple of thunderstorms back across southwest Ontario too. We are likely in the city of Toronto to get into some wet weather early this afternoon, and the threat of thunderstorms is going to be with us throughout the day as well. Winds are light. They're coming out of the south right now. 23 degrees, feels a bit more like 30, so there is a mugginess out there, and there will be again for tomorrow. Here's today at a glance. We're forecasting a daytime high of about 24 degrees, and then tomorrow more in the way of thunderstorm activity, and this time the storms could be severe in nature, but it's not all bad news. We've got a fair amount of sunshine to talk about as well. It's all coming up in your weekend weather forecast. For now, though, Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. The price of gas at the pumps has dropped slightly, but alas, it won't last for long, and the federal extension of the gas tax is set to expire soon. We'll have more just ahead on whether there are any plans to keep it. We're learning more today about the deadly shooting at the Salsa on St. Clair Street Festival last month.
2 men were killed, 5 others seriously injured in the shootout where thousands were out on a summer's night. And today, we're learning more about the arrests made in the case. CTV's Janice Golding is at police headquarters with the latest, and you were at that news conference earlier today.
I was, Nathan, and it just wrapped up about a half hour ago. Toronto police announcing that they have arrested 2 teens in relation to the mass shooting at the Salsa on St. Clair Festival last month. At the news conference, Chief Myron Demkew said that they had arrested 2 teens, 18-year-olds in fact, and charged them with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. 2 young men were killed during the shooting at the busy festival, while 5 other people were wounded. Following an extensive investigation, members of the Emergency Task Force executed a search warrant at a building near Weston Road in St. Clair this past Wednesday and arrested 18-year-old Jessiah Massaro-Gill. A short time later, another team arrested 18-year-old Lewis Downey, this time downtown near Church and Wellesley. While executing search warrants, officers seized 3 firearms and a quantity of narcotics, as well as an amount of Canadian currency. In addition to the murder charges, each of the accused faces a variety of firearms and drug-related offenses.
In the hours following the shooting, we said we believed that the incident was targeted, and that remains true today. We also indicated at the time that there appeared to have been an exchange of gunfire. As our investigation progressed and following forensic examination, we have determined that that was not the case. Although 2 firearms were recovered at the scene, forensic testing determined that neither had been fired. The evidence indicates the gunfire came from 1 gun.
I also want to take a moment and recognize the extraordinary work of our Homicide and Missing Persons Unit more broadly. This is a best-in-class team of investigators under the leadership of Inspector Ted Lumanis. Their clearance rate currently stands at 86%, after finishing 2025 at 93%, the highest in our modern history. And they have consistently maintained exceptional high clearance rates year after year.
Both of the accused made a brief court appearance yesterday. Massaro-Gill will be back in court on the 11th, while Lewis will return to court on the 20th. Reporting live, Janice Golding. Now back to Michelle.
Thank you, Janice. For the second time in a span of a few weeks, Toronto police have arrested an employee at the Hospital for Sick Children. The criminal charges relate to child sexual abuse. The Sex Crimes Unit launched their investigation back in October of 2024. They're accusing a suspect of contacting a 15-year-old victim through social media and chat applications and then making inappropriate comments and sending explicit images. Police executed a search warrant last week in the Don Mills and 401 area. 55-year-old Antonio Alvin de la Cruz was arrested and charged with offenses including luring a person under 18 years of age by means of telecommunication and accessing and possessing child sexual abuse and exploitation material. He appeared in court. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them. SickKids Hospital says De La Cruz was a member of the housekeeping team who was placed on leave and subsequently resigned. The hospital called the situation, quote, deeply disturbing, particularly given the recent criminal charges involving a SickKids doctor. 44-year-old Dylan Jessiah was arrested and charged with accessing and possessing child sexual abuse and exploitation material. SickKids added in a statement, to our knowledge, the 2 employees did not know or work with one another. TPS has indicated there's no evidence linking the alleged criminal charges to the employees' work at SickKids. The hospital also says it's calling in external experts to review its current processes, controls, and safeguards preventing child harm.
A new liaison poll shows Olivia Chow's holding on to a lead as former Conservative Cabinet Minister Chris Alexander enters the mayoral race. Chow is leading Councillor Brad Bradford by 7 points among decided and leading voters, while Alexander begins the race at 10%. Chow's lead is smaller among all voters. She's just 6 points ahead of Bradford with 38%, while Alexander's at 8% and 20% are undecided.
Well, the race is actually just a tiny bit tighter this month. 7-point lead, which is a very big difference than 20-plus points we saw for Olivia Chow earlier in the year when we first started polling. So I think for Brad Bradford, the question is, how does he make up this 7% gap, right? Now, to a certain extent, some of this Chris Alexander vote was never going to vote for Olivia Chow and was never going to vote for Brad Bradford. Right. So that's sort of the, thinking he could draw from there, maybe a little bit. I think the bigger question is these undecided voters. 1 in 5 Torontonians still undecided. And a lot of people have sort of parked their vote with Olivia Chow or Brad Bradford. Can they solidify that support and actually get them out to the polls?
Liaison surveyed a random sample of 1,000 Toronto residents on August 4th. The margin of error is plus minus 3.1%, 19 times out of 20.
There's going to be another federal by-election here in Ontario. That's because a new MP will be needed in the riding of Brantford-Brant South after Conservative Larry Brock announced he's leaving the House of Commons. Brock is taking a position at the Crown Attorney's office in Brantford. He says he will step down September 18th. The Prime Minister has to call a by-election between 11 and 180 days after a seat becomes vacant. There will now be 8 by-elections between August 31st and mid-April. One of those in Beaches, East York, to replace former Liberal Cabinet Minister Nate Erskine-Smith. As the price of gas continues to fluctuate, the clock is ticking on a federal measure to ease the pain at the pumps. With the Iran war sending costs soaring, Ottawa suspended its fuel excise tax back in the spring. That temporarily removes 10 cents per liter on regular gas, 4 cents per liter on diesel, but it is set to expire September 7th. Today, Premier Doug Ford wrote the Prime Minister urging him to extend the suspension or make it permanent. Ontario made its own gas tax removal permanent last year. Motorists we spoke with this morning said they'd support an extension.
Anything would help.
That would help, I mean, as a temporary solution, I guess. But overall, I guess the gas price gets hit by the war happening with Iran and all those things, right? So, I mean, I think it's like a world crisis going on rather than just in Canada.
No, I think that would help huge. I mean, anything you can do for Canadians to help reduce the cost of living, gas prices included, would be, you know, very welcome by Canadians.
No response yet from Ottawa to Ford's letter. This comes as Canadians for Affordable Energy predicts a 3 cent per liter hike tomorrow at Toronto gas stations. That's up from the current $1.58.9 cents per liter of regular.
Stats Canada is out with the July labor force report, and it shows a much bigger increase in employment than economists had expected. The agency says 75,000 jobs were added nationwide last month. Economists in a Reuters poll had predicted the figure would be closer to 15,000. The growth was split between full and part-time work, with Ontario leading the charge with 52,000 jobs added. Stats Canada says the country is now up 181,000 jobs since April and 196,000 from a year ago. The unemployment rate is also down to 6.4%, its lowest level in 2 years. It's not all positive news. Desjardins Managing Director Royce Mendez says the labor market still has a long road to recovery, a challenge illustrated by slower wage growth. Canada's top trade officials were back at the negotiating table yesterday in Washington as the clock ticks to reach a new deal with a new set of harsh U.S. tariffs set to kick in less than 2 weeks. For more on all this, let's bring in CTV senior political correspondent Mike LeCouture live in Ottawa. So, Mike, the trade negotiations, we know they're tense. We've heard barbs on both sides. What's the latest on this?
Yeah, so we're hearing from Dominic LeBlanc's office, and he, of course, is the minister that is in charge of Canada-U.S. trade, that he is leaving Washington today, but is expected to be back on Monday. Unclear at this moment if he will have another meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, but Janice Charette is staying. She is the lead trade negotiator in those negotiations as well. So certainly there is a bit of optimism here, and I say that because if Dominic LeBlanc is going back to Washington, D.C., that is with the possibility of actually having a meeting, because he wouldn't go there for nothing. That is for certain. And I think some more positivity that we can see, Nathan, is what we saw yesterday out of that meeting. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. It lasted 90 instead, with Greer and his Canadian counterparts. There was also a post by Dominic LeBlanc on social media saying that the conversation was constructive and detailed. We also did hear today from Jean Charest, and he is a member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council on Canada-U.S. relations, and he was talking about some of the discussions and the briefing that he had received from Dominic LeBlanc. Have a listen to what Charest said here.
We're not going to by the 19th of August, deal with everything. But there's a real chance that progress can be made and that we can put ourselves on a track that would allow us to stay at the table and resolve the agreement and have a comprehensive agreement on our trade relationship that would be in everyone's interest. So that's where we're at. Encouraging news.
So encouraging news from Jean Charest there, but he also did say in that interview with CTV News that it's not going to be one-sided, that if we do make some concessions that the United States will have to as well. Not clear exactly where some of those will be. We know supply managed sector of dairy and poultry and eggs is in the crosshairs of the United States, and there could be some movement there in terms of quotas, but he reiterated what the Prime Minister said yesterday, that supply management is here to stay.
Now, the opposition leader is thinking that Carney can do a better job as far as negotiating in all of this. What has Poilievre been saying about the trade talks?
Yeah, the Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, has said that, look, in the past, in his opinion, Prime Minister Carney has negotiated away a lot of things and gotten nothing in return. One example he gave was the reciprocal tariffs that Canada had on the United States that we took away, and then, of course, the digital services tax that Canada was going to impose on big American tech giants, and that is something that Poilievre says we negotiated away and didn't get anything in return either. So he's saying that some of the things that will not be the target of these threatened tariffs on August 19th are Alberta energy, there's potash as well, and critical minerals. And he says Canada should really try and leverage those in a positive way and say to the Americans that we won't put an export tariff on them, but instead that we will say that if you do give us tariff-free trade, that we will essentially prioritize the Americans and we will stockpile all of these things to make sure that we are a reliable trading partner with the United States instead of trying to sell them to other places. While Canada does continue to try and expand trade, that is something that Pierre Poilievre believes should be put on the table as a negotiating ploy. It's unclear if the Carney government will follow that lead.
All right, we'll find out. CTV senior political correspondent Mike Lecouture in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Canada's spy agency vetted about 130,000 people last year, but the federal government is being forced to confront more questions about holes.
CTV's Judy Trin has the story.
As he announced the creation of a new quantum innovation hub at the University of Calgary, Defense Minister David McGuinty was asked why the government cleared an alleged spy to work at NATO.
It's very difficult for me to make a comment about an ongoing judicial matter in a foreign country, Belgium.
CTV News identified the accused spy as Claire Biwei Zhang, who began working for the federal government as a student in 2017. LinkedIn shows Zhang worked for the National Research Council, Statistics Canada, and possibly the Canadian Space Agency. The incident is prompting a review of vetting across all departments.
The government is seized with the need to improve overall the approach to security clearances, not just for these kinds of positions, but jobs involving public service, contractors who are working on defense contracts.
Court records show Zhang submitted a fraudulent application for a CBSA job. Despite that red flag, she still managed to get an internship at SHAPE, NATO's military command center in Mons, Belgium.
Well, Mr. Carney has some questions to answer. How is it that this individual was not captured in the vetting process originally, but that other countries and governments were able to have the intelligence to find this troubling information?
As a graduate student in Ottawa, Zhang researched artificial intelligence and self-driving vehicles. Last year, CSIS issued a warning about spies affiliated with China targeting the academic community. The risk of intellectual property being stolen by Beijing looms again.
Look, we're going to have to be vigilant.
CSIS screened about 130,000 applications last year. The spy agency said it had also previously disrupted a Chinese operation to recruit former military personnel. The agency did not say if it came across Biwei Zhang's name in past investigations. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
At least 5 staff members were killed when a student opened fire at a high school outside Bangkok today. More than 20 other people were wounded. The 14-year-old shooter took his own life at the scene. Thailand's Prime Minister says the student had shown signs of stress connected to the school. Earlier in the morning, the boy also killed his grandparents at the home he shared with them. Family members say they were unaware of any troubles he faced at home or school.
Italian firefighters are continuing to battle a wildfire that broke out in a remote northern region. 5 crews are on scene, and firefighting efforts have been underway since yesterday afternoon. Italy placed all of its major cities under the highest heat alert Thursday amid scorching temperatures. The severe, prolonged heat wave in Europe has fueled blazes in a number of countries and disrupted energy and transport systems across the continent.
Turkey, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia have reached an agreement on defense that would treat an attack on one as an attack on all three. The deal was signed in the Saudi holy city of Mecca by the leaders of the three Sunni Muslim majority states. It's intended to solidify cooperation between the regional powers at a time of growing security concerns. The agreement brings together oil-rich Saudi Arabia and nuclear power Pakistan, as well as Turkey's military strength, which features NATO's second-largest army. Lindsay.
Well, it is another busy weekend here in the city. We talked about Taste of the Danforth. It's back, and if you're venturing there tonight, just know that there is a threat of active weather, but I do expect that it is going to be drier this evening compared to what it's been like so far today. Also happening this weekend, Jerk Fest. Here's a look at what you can expect for Saturday. Sunday is looking like a fabulous day to spend time outside. And just want to mention that we are looking at a little bit of a cool down by the end of next week. We'll show you that in the 7-day forecast coming up. Here is a live look over Lake Ontario. You are watching CTV News at noon. Your summer weekend weather forecast is after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Is it Friday already? A little bit of a shorter work week for some out there. And okay, we got rain yesterday, unsettled, definitely feels humid out there, but there's so much on tap this weekend. We got to make sure there's some decent weather in the
Yeah, there's so many festivals, seems like all over the city. Not bright sunny days, but at least it's warm right now.
So Sunday looks great. If you're looking for a day that's a sure thing, we don't have to worry about rain or the threat of thunderstorms. Sunday is your day. I wish I could say Saturday was the same, but much like today, we have the threat of active weather. It's not going to be an all-day event, but there's enough of a risk out there that you'll want to pay attention. And if you do have outdoor plans, I think it's important that you have a place where you could take shelter in case rain suddenly arrives. Or, of course, as the saying goes, when thunder roars, it's time for you to head indoors. Let's get to that forecast. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. A live look outside right now in the city of Toronto. Not raining everywhere. It has been, as mentioned, a very unsettled morning across the west end of the GTA, from Mississauga around Hamilton and into the Niagara region. We've had loads of rain so far today. Looking at the satellite and radar, those showers are just trying to creep their way into the city. It's been significantly drier by comparison for areas like Vaughan today, east toward Durham region, and north areas north of that too. A fair amount of cloud cover, but not quite as unsettled yet. The threat of thunderstorms is with us today, especially back across extreme southwest Ontario, but also Hamilton south toward Lake Erie. We once again have the threat of perhaps some flooding. It's been very rainy around Niagara Falls. Didn't want that for you if that's where you're joining us from. I know it's been a very soggy couple of weeks in your neck of the woods. Let's see if we can push some of this rainfall out. We do expect improvements as we make our way through the afternoon and early evening. Can't rule out the possibility of another shower or storm. Here's how it's looking on the forecast radar. So that's 6 p.m. This looks pretty good, in my opinion, around the GTA for getting out, enjoying some of those summertime festivals. Then tomorrow, couple of opportunities for wet weather. First, there's 9 a.m. As we make our way into the afternoon, this is where we see the threat of perhaps some severe storms developing. Afternoon, this is a snapshot of about 4 p.m., but continuing into the early part of the evening. Just be mindful of the fact that stormy weather could arrive. And then Sunday looks wonderful, loads of sunshine into early Monday. We're looking at the possibility of some wet weather returning. Temperature-wise right now, we are at 22 degrees. It's not as hot and muggy out there as it was yesterday or as it will be into the day tomorrow. 21 degrees for an overnight low tonight. That's pretty warm. Tomorrow's high, 29 degrees, feeling more like 37, and it is expected to be quite muggy across the board for your day on Saturday. But let's talk about that 7-day forecast. Sunny for Sunday. Let's see if I can bring that 7-day back. I might have clicked one too many here. There it is. Sunday looks sunny, and Monday there's that chance of showers and some cloudiness into the day Tuesday of next week as well. That's your weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Evacuations have expanded in British Columbia as massive wildfires continue to ravage several communities.
This week, more firefighters arrived from Mexico, part of the 600 who will be joining from outside BC to help in the battle, on top of the 2,000 already on the ground. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson has the latest.
There are hundreds of homes in BC's Okanagan near Vernon that now look like this, including what was Bill and Kelly Richards' place.
It looks like a bomb went off in my house. There's nothing left of it.
They don't have insurance and don't know how they'll afford to rebuild. Their RV was untouched and may now become home.
The only comfort we got is sticking together and staying as a family unit.
The BC Wildfire Service is reporting progress in controlling the spread of the nearby Bradley Creek fire, but there is no rain in the forecast. Instead, a potential problem this weekend.
An incoming weather system of potentially more lightning, so we need help from the public to make sure you're not starting any human-caused wildfires.
Hundreds of kilometers to the west, the fire threat arrived on the edge of Metro Vancouver. 2 homes were evacuated in Anmore, and people inside dozens more were told to get ready to go.
It's now just very close to home for us, and this is the reality of the world that we're living in.
Winds helped firefighters keep the fire contained to a close call. More help is on the way for crews across the province. 200 firefighters from Mexico landed today, earning an airport welcome from the Premier.
A chance for firefighting crews in the province to catch their breath and be able to recover.
David Eby also responded to accusations he's been staying out of the spotlight while his province burns.
The last thing that wildfire fighters need when they're facing down a wall of flame is for the Premier to show up to hold a press conference.
The smoke from wildfires in BC and Washington state is still leading to air quality warnings here in Metro Vancouver. But interestingly, it may be helping fire crews in the Okanagan. The BC Wildfire Service says the thick blanket of heavy smoke is actually helping to block the sun and reduce fire behavior. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Here in Ontario, more than 150 wildfires are still burning across the province's north. That's according to the latest update from the Ministry of Natural Resources. 4 new fires were confirmed in the northwest region on Thursday for a total of 113 burning. 17 are out of control. It was better news in the northeast, where no new fires were confirmed yesterday. Still, 42 are still actively burning, with 1 not considered under control. And the wildfires continue to force families and animals out of the region, while many pets are in foster homes near evacuated areas. Others, including strays and surrendered animals, have fewer options.
To help with the influx up north, animal rescues are giving cats and dogs a second chance. But as CTV's Colton Weens tells us, it's been a struggle to keep up.
I love this particular rescue that I'm working with, and this was a cause that spoke to me. And how could I say no?
This is Aurora, about 5 weeks old and currently being fostered by Stephanie Mealy in Kitchener.
She's fantastic. She's a very sweet girl, and she's very social.
She's just one of the many animals brought to the care of Northern Connection Dog Rescue around Brantford as wildfires up north keep pushing animals out.
About 2 weeks ago, it was all very quick. We found out what was going on, and then within a few days, we had planned to take some dogs out.
The evacuations and the fires have certainly created more of a crisis situation right now.
Liz Sauer with New Caller Collective has also been helping take animals in. She says local groups around Thunder Bay are fostering pets so they can be returned to their families when possible, while strays and surrendered animals have come south.
We took in about 70 animals this week. Not us ourselves, it was a group of 16 rescues, and then 2 weeks ago 110 animals came down that went to about 19 rescues. So we don't typically see a transport every 2 weeks. Usually it's sort of every month. So there is certainly an increase.
A lack of access to spay and neutering in the north has always been an issue for overpopulation, which Sauer says hasn't helped in these trying times. But while these rescues do rely heavily on donations and help, the amount of people wanting to get involved has also increased.
We're really seeing it. We're seeing people step up to foster who hadn't really considered it before, or asking how they can help. So it's been really rewarding to see the community step up.
As for Aurora, she'll be staying in southern Ontario going forward, thanks to the loving care of the agencies helping in the province.
Mealy hasn't decided whether she's going to keep Aurora or put her up for adoption, but if she is put up for adoption, it'll be in about 2.5 weeks, and Mealy will also be the one deciding where she goes. Colton Ween, CTV News, Kitchener.
Very cute.
Almost had it there.
The annual Pride Parade is happening in Montreal this weekend, and a very popular feature of Montreal's village is being brought back.
It's part of a plan to change the future of St. Catherine Street. Lawrence Brisson-Dubreuil reports.
One of the village's most familiar sights is making a return, and with it, a whole lot of color. The city says the iconic balls are coming back. Designed by the late landscape architect Claude Cormier, the colorful canopies stretched above St. Catherine Street from 2011 to 2019. Now, after talks with the artist's family and the agency that holds the rights, Mayor Soraya Martinez-Ferrada says the ball is rolling.
We should be proud of what Cormier has done for the city, and not having the balls in the village, I think it was something missing.
The installation is part of a broader revitalization of the village, including plans to rebuild water and sewer lines, repave St. Catherine Street, plant 270 trees, and add hundreds of new seats. But the project also marks a shift. The previous administration had intended to pedestrianize the street year-round. Now the city says the redesign will keep that option open while still allowing vehicle access if needed. For this business owner, that flexibility is welcome.
The fact that we'll be able to shut down the street in the winter, in the spring, in the summer, if we plan to do these festivals, like let's say we want to do a Christmas market, we'll be able to close the street down in the winter much more efficiently, much more quickly than we currently can.
After years of waiting, the village's business association says having a timeline brings some certainty.
We've been telling them for, 4, 5, 6 years, the city is going to redo the street, so not having that much information for the last years has been increasing the stress for the merchants.
She hopes the project helps keep existing businesses and fills vacant storefronts. The Residents Association says the project is a start, but argues revitalizing the village also means addressing the housing crisis and the growing unhoused population.
A lot of problems have been pushed into the area here. The solution for that is quite simple. It's housing first.
While construction is set to begin in the fall of 2027, with completion set for 2030, the contract for the balls is expected to be awarded later this month. A familiar symbol returning as the village prepares for its next chapter. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
Still to come, it was a winning welcome back to BMO Field for the Argos last night. Game highlights just ahead.
Sometimes the best meals come from places that never tried to be trendy. Today we're taking a seat at an East York Greasy Spoon, where a hearty breakfast, homemade comfort food, and friendly smiles have been serving a neighborhood for generations. Let's check it out. The Ginger Man is the kind of neighborhood spot that keeps people coming back. It captures the charm of a traditional local eatery where the hardworking family staff makes people feel right at home. Take it up! Take it up! Thank you, Nora. Whether you're stopping in for a hearty breakfast, a satisfying lunch, or simply a good cup of coffee and conversation, the Ginger Man delivers the kind of simple, satisfying dining experience that has made community restaurants a lasting part of Toronto's food scene. How are you different from other Greasy Spoons or diners? What makes this special?
So what makes this place special is the Ginger Man's been here for 66, 67 years. So we have a lot of people that have come here as kids. Now they've grown up, and now they're bringing their grandkids here as well. So it's become a staple in the community just for the longevity of it. And the portion sizes as well are very good.
Very good. That's really important.
Pick up, Bill! Pick up, let's go! I got a nice small sandwich for you here as well.
Wow.
This is our toasted Western with cheese.
Are you going to come with a run for me later to burn off these cuts? This looks amazing.
There you are.
All right.
So that's the toasted Western with cheese. We've got ham, onions, and then some cheese in there as well. This is a staple. This is what we're known for here. I've had people travel from the UK to come have the sandwich here, or whenever they're in the city, they have to stop in here and have it.
This is delicious. Yeah, it's really good. I'm not surprised.
This is our next meal, the Ginger Man Sampler. So what we got here is we got 3 eggs, cooked however you like.
Yeah.
Ham, sausage, bacon, home fries, toast. You have a choice between white, brown, or rye, and then you have a choice between pancakes or French toast. hits home when it's Saturday
Perfect part of a balanced
That's it.
breakfast. Yes, love that. Oh wow, that's a huge club.
It's all white meat, and then we've got our lettuce, tomato, and bacon as well with the French fries. You get your mayo on the side.
All right, here we go. We're going in. Mmm. In a city filled with changing trends, it's places like the Ginger Men that remind us of the comfort of consistency. Great food, familiar faces, warm welcome. Sometimes that's exactly what it takes to make a memorable meal. For more details, check out cb24.com.
Newly acquired pitcher Jose Soriano will make his first start for the Toronto Blue Jays tonight as they look to rebound from a heartbreaking loss.
Cubs trying to keep rolling after they just swept the Dodgers. Michael Busch takes double steal, throw to third, gets away. PCA's going to score, and the Cubs win it.
The Jays were oh so close to beating the Cubs until a throwing error allowed Chicago's winning run to come home in the bottom of the 11th. Toronto visits Philadelphia tonight to open a weekend series against the Phillies.
Ended up that open, and obviously she's a great shooter, so if she stays that open, it's going to be a problem.
Nurse for three!
The Tempo were in Portland last night looking to get back on track, but they lost their 8th straight game, falling 97-83 to the Fire. The expansion team has now lost 12 of their last 13 games. Their next game is Monday in Atlanta against the Dream.
You work on this in training camp, and you work on it the day before a game, and everybody runs down. You have good protection, you climb the pocket, and then you throw it into the end zone.
BA lets it fly, hanging in the air, and it'll be intercepted.
The Toronto Argonauts delivered a memorable homecoming. The Boatmen returned to a .500 record in thrilling fashion last night. Brady Lidster's 11-yard field goal with 11 seconds remaining capped a wild fourth quarter and earned Toronto a 33-30 win over the Calgary Stampeders. It was the Argonauts' first game at BMO Field this season after the stadium was used for the FIFA World Cup. The latest report from Rentals.ca and Urbanation shows rents are continuing to decline across the country. The July report showed asking rents nationwide stood at $2,037. That's 4% lower than the same month last year. It marks the 22nd month in a row where that figure declined year over year. At the same time, prices were up 0.2% if you compared to June. Here in Toronto, apartment and condo rents saw the smallest annual decline among major markets.
Airbnb shares surged 14% to a more than 4-year high today. The positive results came as the vacation rental firm raised its annual revenue forecast. That helped ease worries over the fallout on global travel demand linked to the conflict in the Middle East. Airbnb says despite the challenges posed, it expects full-year revenue to be in at least the mid-teens. Company representatives also underlined the success they've had with incorporating artificial intelligence tools into their service. They say the tools have sent customer support costs down while speeding up product launches. Just ahead, Drake throws a lavish party. We'll tell you all about it when we check in with Sam East from 99.9 Virgin Radio.
Social media has been buzzing over a big night for some Toronto women on Tuesday, invited by Drake to an extra special party. And it's been a big week for a young Filipino tennis player who is making a big splash right here in our city. Sam East from 99.9 Virgin Radio joins us live to break it all down on our weekly segment, Chronically Online. Sam, it's great to have you back. Always fun on a Friday, and I'm so pumped we get to talk about Drake's party. Did you get an invite?
Michelle, I think our invites got lost in the mail. I'm not sure what happened there, but this is Drake's annual party, 3rd year running now, where he invites Canadian female entrepreneurs, content creators, leaders in the community, and he treats them. So what it looked like was tons of luxury gifts and cash prizes as well. I saw that some people were getting $50,000. Birkin bags were given away. Now this part though is really cool. Our very own Kayla Gray with TSN, she won this in a raffle. Look at this moment.
44859.
Oh my God! No way! Yeah, Kayla Gray won a G-Wagon in a raffle, and she confirmed this was not rigged. It's not because she's friends with Drake or anything. It was true, just luck of the draw, and she went home that evening with a brand new Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon.
Oh, that's a raffle and a half. I mean, normally in a raffle, you get maybe some golf clubs if you're really lucky, a TV. But, I mean, I looked up what a G-Wagon is worth. Oh, my goodness. Wow, what a gift. And she deserves it.
She does. She works hard. She does so much for the community. That is a very expensive vehicle. But like you said, Michelle, I think the biggest I've won in a raffle was a bread basket.
And I won some coffee gift cards, and I was pumped. But, yeah, I'm surprised Kayla kept it together. I mean, how do you even process that?
I don't know, but she deserves it, like you said. Hey, maybe next year, if we talk about it enough, Michelle, maybe we'll be on the guest list at Casa Loma with Drake.
Oh, my goodness. Well, kudos to Drake for spreading the love around and sharing his wealth. It's a lot of fun to watch on social media. We have to talk about new talent taking over at the Toronto National Bank Open. Oh, my goodness. This tennis player, there's mania surrounding it. Do you have it?
I have it. I caught the Alex Ayala mania. So you can see here, this is Alexandra Ayala, a 21-year-old player from the Philippines. And, you know, you may be thinking, well, why does that matter here in Toronto? Toronto has a massive Filipino community, so much so that we showed up, because I'm half Filipino, we showed up in droves for Alex Ayala. Her first match this past week sold out in 30 minutes. It was such high demand that they had to move her match to center court so they could accommodate the demand. And honestly, the pandemonium was palpable in the crowd. I caught some video of her from that first match here. Yeah, she is just reveling here in the sheer energy that she's getting from the audience in the crowd. There were Filipino flags waving around. I should say this, though, Michelle. I think there's a lot of us who are new to the sport of tennis being a spectator, and we didn't realize, you know, it's not like a soccer or a hockey game where you can cheer your head off. There's etiquette involved where you have to wait for your moment before you can really scream your head off. So we're learning, but we're still showing up in droves for Alex Ayala, who also played a doubles match with Venus Williams yesterday.
Oh, Sam, I love that. I mean, the World Cup, we just saw that Toronto was basically home to the world. It's a lot of fun to see the Filipino-Canadian community show up. And, yeah, you know what? I've been to tennis games. It's so serious, right, and so quiet. I wouldn't mind a little bit of energy. I don't know about the other players, but it's kind of fun to bring, you know, a little bit more excitement to the match.
I agree. I mean, we were getting shushed all over the place. So we've learned, notes taken, notes received, but we are just so excited. The energy is palpable. Go, Alex Ayala, go.
Go, Alex Ayala, go. Great. It's just so nice to have you. Thanks so much, Sammy. She hosts 99.9 Virgin Radio in the afternoons. Have a great show.
Thanks, Michelle.
Coming up, a baseball competition happening out east has young players from across the country bringing their best game for those looking for top talent.
Canada's top teen baseball talent is competing in PEI this week.
CTV's Maria Saru has the story.
A home run gives Team Nova Scotia a reason to celebrate. But one big hit is only the start.
We won a medal. We have a really good team. We have great coaches. We have a mission for this tournament.
And there are bigger ambitions in play, especially for 17 and under athletes from outside the country's major baseball centers.
It's definitely an opportunity for them to get exposure on a national level.
So did you come here with a list today?
I did, and it's ever evolving.
Baseball Canada head coach Greg Hamilton is in the crowd, watching closely for the junior national team's next generation.
The speed of the game goes up dramatically as they move into international competition and play against the best in the world. So you're looking for players that have that type of physicality, that type of athleticism.
Even with so much at stake, there's more to the week than the results.
It's always just fun to be around the game and just be able to experience it with like all your friends you've known your whole life, just playing together.
The small city of Summerside is building a reputation for hosting big sports events. And this one is making an impact beyond the diamond.
Your busing companies get busy. We're spending money at local stores. Your pubs are filling up. Your hotels are full. So every sector is touched.
For Team PEI, playing on home soil is a special moment.
Home fans, they're showing up, and played in this field my whole life, but it's a pretty big stage.
There's plenty of baseball left to play, with games continuing through Sunday when a national champion will be crowned. Maria Saru, CTV News, Summerside, Prince Edward Island.
Well, anyone hoping to fit in a baseball game early this afternoon is going to have some wet weather to deal with. So let's take a look at the current satellite and radar. Those showers have arrived downtown Toronto. Should clear out for the evening, but we are going to hold on to the threat of a thunderstorm. Unfortunately, it's a similar situation for tomorrow. An unsettled day on Saturday, not a washout. We will have dry periods. Sunday, though, is looking like a stellar day. Back into a few showers early next week. Nathan and Michelle.
All right, not bad. Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.